Hello, everyone. I'm Mario Hilario from NBC 10. Welcome back to a Food Podcast, the place you can come to hear all about the great things happening on the local food scene, the wonderful restaurants we have, local companies making delicious food products, the fun community events that highlight local cuisine. Joining me now is Ester Bishop from Gnarly Vines Farm. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about your business and you have an actual farm, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. We started about 8 years ago. We were supposed to just be a homestead, and then we started raising chickens for eggs, and then all of a sudden, things grew more than just a homestead, and we became a commercial farm, and the sky's the limit now.
Wow, that's great. And where's your farm located?
We are right in Tiverton, Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about, you have a food truck, correct?
I do. The food truck started because we were getting stuck with some more unpopular cuts of meat, like bone-in breast, or people want boneless, skinless chicken breast. So
Right.
we're like, what are we gonna do with all this other leftover? And to solve the problem, we bought the food truck, and we've been, but now we can't even keep up. We're having to source meat from our local friends as well, because we go through so much.
That's amazing, yeah. So everything that you serve on the food truck, or at least initially, was everything you raise on the farm, all locally grown, right?
Yeah. All the meat that we serve in the food truck comes from either our farm, like the chicken we raise ourselves, pork we raise, goat. Sometimes we have some special goat dishes that are really delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beef, right now, we've been sourcing it from our neighbor or from our friend in Westport, which is grass-fed. But we're actually getting some cows this year, so that, we're going to start endeavoring on that
That
side.
will be good, yeah. Now, the farm itself, that's not a place where people would come to, can people come there to, get food or no?
Not yet.
Yeah.
We are actually building a little farm store. So very soon, hopefully by the end of this year, everything will be ready. We'll be able to open our doors. We're also installing some new fencing for the animals. That way, when people come, they can see the animals, go pet them, or,
Yeah.
give them treats, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, and maybe you can have, activities and things at
Absolutely.
the farm, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about what it's like actually having a farm these days.
So it's very interesting to see what's happening with our food system. Right now, the price of eggs, it's like through the sky, and everybody's complaining about it. And, I've been trying to help educate people that if we just shop local and, get to know your neighbors and your farmer, you will not have these kinds of problems, because, we can, in Rhode Island and in the world, feed our communities within our communities always, and it will be much cleaner food, much better. But having a farm is fun. It's a lot of work, a lot more work than I thought it would be, but it's a lot of fun and very rewarding, especially for our children.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, if you eat locally, from local farms and the community, it's, like you said, it's cleaner and probably less expensive too for people.
Yes, I think the real cost of the cheap food that we buy at the supermarket, it's really hidden with all the pollution that it's causing, our oceans, global warming. There's so much that happens behind the scene that we don't know. But if you go to a farm, you get to know your farmer. You can see where your meat and your vegetables and your milk. You can see how it's being raised and grown, and you can see and hold them accountable for how they treat the environment and how things are going.
Yeah, much more responsible, right?
Absolutely.
Overall.
Absolutely.
So how would you describe the food that you make?
So I am originally from Brazil, and we decided that we were going to start with what I know best, which is Brazilian food. So there's rice, beans, okra, veggies. There's in Brazilian food growing up, there was always rice, beans, little piece of meat, not too much, and lots of veggies. So that's what I've been trying to do in the food truck. And then we have some of classic foods that we eat at farmers markets in Brazil, like our pastel. And it's fried. It's like a fried empanada. And we do meat empanadas and vegan empanadas. We do just plain cheese. It's a little bit of each thing to try to capture every audience that we have.
Yeah.
And then we're starting to do now some prepared foods to sell. We're calling it Gnarly Fresh and Farm Fresh Frozen Foods.
Nice.
You'll be able to find it at the supermarkets very soon. We're still working on like packaging and licensing and things like that. But by the summer, we should be able to be at the supermarket. But for now, you can order online through our website, and you can pick up at the Tiverton Farmers Market on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And the Tiverton Farmers Market is at the middle school in Tiverton for the winter. And also on Saturdays, we are at the Mount Hope Farmers Market in Bristol from 10 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. during the winter.
So there's always a way to find you.
Absolutely.
Yes. And in the food trucks, you must be you're all the PVD food truck events, and you must go to a lot of different either events or fairs and all that kind of thing.
Yes, Eric keeps us super busy. It's great because we do spring to fall. Not only do we do the PVD food truck events, all of the events that they produce, but he also helps us get private events. So we do, corporate events and parties, weddings, everything you can think of. You can hire us to go and do it. And it doesn't have to just be Brazilian food. We have a variety of different dishes, and you can customize whatever you want. You can go very simple, just snacks, all the way to very high class, fancy meats that we're growing.
Like high-end meals, yeah. So you work with the customer to see what they want and cater to what their need is for their event.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. And in terms of your background, were you always into cooking?
No, I was actually an awful cook.
Oh, no.
When I was younger, before I started cooking, I was really, really bad at it. But then when I came to America and I was trying to learn English, what I started doing is watching cooking shows.
Cooking shows, that's
so
great.
that's kind of how I learned to cook, and then I just fell in love with it, and now
wow,
that's what I do.
That's
for
what
a living.
you do.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
it
How
is.
that's not what you started out
Yeah,
doing
and
in
I
life.
didn't know how to farm either. All
Yeah.
of that we just learned by going on YouTube, reading books, and watching what other farmers were doing. It's been a fun
How
ride.
big is your farm?
We have 16 acres in Tiverton, and there we raise goats, the chickens for eggs. We have some rabbits. We have lots of things there. And then we also work with Coggeshall Farm Museum, where our animals sometimes, we raise some animals there to try to help them make their pastures better and make sure that farmland stays being farmed.
Yeah.
Regenerating their land. And also we have some actors there. Our pigs are acting,
Oh
our
my
sheep,
gosh.
our cows are going to go there and be acting and help them be like our animals help them be the farm and show people how farming was done.
Was done? Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, so I cannot wait any longer. I'm going to try some of the wonderful food you brought in. So let's start with this. Tell me about this. It looks delicious. It's a brisket.
That's brisket. Yeah, it's brisket, and we just braised it in a wine sauce. It's kind of beef bourguignon.
That's what it looks like. Kind of
Yeah, beef bourguignon, but with a little twist. I put some figs in there to just give it a little Latino flavor, you know?
All right, I'm going to try this. Well, I can taste the fig. That was really good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it doesn't make it sweet. It's just so that you can have a little bite of sweetness when you're eating it.
And that wine sauce is so
good.
good. Is this like a slow you cook it like?
Yes,
Yeah.
it cooked for about 3 hours.
Oh my God. And there's onions here too, little
Onions, yeah, pearl onions and mushrooms.
That is delicious. You said that's fairly new on your...
Yeah, that's new. And the prepared foods, as well as the food truck, there's always change to the menu because we work with what's in season for us and for other farms.
Right.
So like the vegetables, sometimes it might be kale, sometimes it might be collard greens, sometimes it might be something completely different because I can't find it locally. So
Right.
we use what we can
At the time.
that's
Yeah.
being produced, which is better because it tastes so much better. If you go to
definitely.
the farmer's market this weekend and you buy a bag of salad greens, first of all, that salad green, that bag will last you a couple of weeks without going bad, and the flavor and the texture is completely different than what you're going to find at the supermarket.
Yes, exactly. And this is one of your traditional dishes, right?
Yes,
Tell me about this.
that's the feijoada. It's Brazil's national dish. In Brazil, it's usually made with like the less popular parts. Like we'll put the pig's feet, pig's tail, ears, all of that stuff. It gives an incredible flavor. But we want to do a little bit more upscale, so we use pork shoulder, pork butt, ham, bacon, and our sausages as well. And we just serve it with rice
and
kale or collard greens, our vinaigrette, and then a little bit of orange. Helps you digest it all.
Yes. And there's some beans here too, right?
Yes, and it's the pork is all stewed in the black beans, and that's what makes it that extra flavor to the beans.
Oh my God, it's so good. And your rice is so good. What's your secret to making the rice so good?
Just
You don't want to say. You don't have to say if you don't want to.
no, I'll say it. It's you just put olive oil in the pan, a little bit of garlic, saute the garlic, add the rice, enough water just to cover the rice, like an inch over the rice. Cover it, let it cook.
Oh, it's
on
so
low.
good. I haven't tried that often, but I always feel like rice is so hard to. You got to get it just right.
Yeah.
Make it good.
I agree.
Yeah. Now, tell me what you call these things. They look like kind of empanadas, but what do you call it?
They're called pastel, and that's like a very popular thing we eat at the farmer's market. So you go to the farmer's market, do your shopping, and at the end you stop at the pastel tent and you grab it and you eat it. And the right way to eat a pastel is you take a bite and then you pour some of the vinaigrette that we give it to you inside, and that just boosts the flavor.
And what's in the vinaigrette?
It's just onions, peppers, tomato, vinegar, seasonings.
Yeah. So this one that I'm trying, is this a new one you said? Chicken?
Yeah, that's a new one. It's chicken, bacon, and chipotle ranch, and cheese, because
Of course.
just makes
I
things
love,
better.
well, I love bacon. Everybody knows that. So, and I love,
and this is our bacon. This is bacon from our pasture-raised, woods-raised pork. So the flavor is just uncomparable. You can't find that anywhere else. You gotta find a local farmer who produces,
yes.
that kind of.
Yeah. I'm going to try the little vinaigrette too.
Yeah, and you can dip it into the vinaigrette too. I see a lot of people just dipping
Just
it
dip
in.
it in.
Yeah.
Or you pour it in.
Pour it in, yeah.
And then you have you have boneless and on the bone chicken like wings, right? Tell
yeah.
me. And these are just kind of your standard chicken wings?
Yep. And we, this is our free range chickens. We raise them right here in Tiverton. And then, we just fry them to perfection, cover them with the chipotle ranch sauce, and enjoy, because
yeah, that sauce is so good.
so good, right?
Those
Tender.
are, very tender.
Oh
my God.
And they're all like very freshly processed. We usually save. We raise a bunch at the end of the year, right before the winter, and we freeze it all so that we can still have chicken for our customers and for the food truck. But during the spring to fall, when you come to the farmer's market to buy chicken from us, it's chicken that was processed like a week before, 2 weeks before. So it's always super fresh.
I know. That's really, I think people don't realize how important that is and how much better it can be. You know what I mean? When you're eating food and it's so fresh and local. All this stuff is amazing. So tell folks again the best way that they can find you so they can find out about all the great foods that you make and how to actually buy them too.
So we are on Instagram and Facebook. You can find us there. You can come to our website, www.gnarlyvinesfarm.com. And there you can buy prepared foods, or you can buy our meats. And then Saturdays at the Mount Hope Farmers Markets from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. During the winter. And Sundays at the Tiverton Farmers Market from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And the Tiverton Farmers Market is at the middle school right now for the winter.
That's great. So no excuse for people not to find you, right, Esther?
Exactly.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much for coming in and bringing your delicious food.
Thank you.
And good luck with everything. And I'm sure we'll run into you again soon. We
Yes.
always do. So definitely check out Gnarly Vines Farm. They'll make you go, mmm.